So welcome. Um, in this class, I'll share, as I said, about how to transcend suffering and how to transcend struggle. And this is not saying that you struggle and you are in pain, but perhaps in situations you feel and we feel determined, a bit controlled by our environment and the circumstances. So this is a way to look at those situations and how we can use what I'm about to share, and how we cannot be as boxed in by the circumstances. This came to me at a time when the circumstances were really not what I wanted them to be, and I saw that, okay, it needs to be like this so that I'm going somewhere. But I really felt that, yeah, I'll share more about it. It becomes like a negative spiral sometimes if we are in a job that we dislike, if we are feeling low because of it, or because of anything in our lives is not as filled with harmony that we wish, then that is how we feel, and then that is what we attract. So we look at our circumstances and take our cue from the circumstances, and really like, I don't like this and I feel like this, and then that is what we attract, because the circumstances take the cue from us, from our vibration. And even when we know this, it's like we forget in that moment that we have to not take the cue from our circumstances, but to decide from within. And this is where this class comes in. So I'll hope that you benefit. And we'll begin with a meditation. So close your eyes. I want to share a moment with you in presence, and just drop down into the space of knowing, the space of being, within and beyond our mind, within our body, beyond our body. So just come into stillness, sit still. Imagine your thoughts ceasing or resting in the background. Allow your entire focus to be on the breath. As you're breathing in, feeling what that feels like. As you're breathing out in a natural rhythm. Allow the body to relax. Allow your brain to relax. And see if you can find that sense deep within of just being. Where there is no response to the question, I am. The statement, rather, I am. Just be. Just be. For a moment or a lifetime. Just be. Allow that space to expand. Soften the resistance around that space. Observe whatever floats through your mind with a detached awareness, and just come back to the being, feeling, sense of being. Just be. Nothing to accomplish, nothing to do, nothing to succeed in. Just be. And as we slowly come back, see if you can let this stillness remain and stay in that state, the open space of being. As you slowly open your eyes, and see if that feeling can remain within, which is the presence that we share. In most meditations, we actually snap out of it when we finish. But it's really that beingness that we want to integrate into our lives, that we can bring in. We can stay in meditation as we open our eyes and as we move forward with the day. So I encourage you to try that when you're meditating otherwise. That beingness is the true self, or the gateway to the true self. And there's no need to cling to the beingness, rather to invite its presence and your awareness of its presence, because really it's always there, right? But we let the mind take over. But we don't need to take over so quickly. See if you can stay there now as my mind. Now I'm speaking from this place to your entire being, your mind that needs to understand certain things to be able to let go, and to the beingness, the knowing that you already know what I'm sharing. And there will be a recognition. So what is this about? It's about transcending struggle and transcending the conditions that we, honestly, as powerful creators and powerful beings, capable of anything, capable of healing and capable of not healing, capable of everything, because in the end, deep within, not in the end, but ultimately, you are the divine creator. We all are as one. But we forget this power. We forget who we are, and we let the mind rule. And the mind and the body. We let the mind rule the body. And we follow what we think the conditions tell us to. And the conditions are external circumstances, but it's also our karmic wounds. It's our inner beliefs. It's our belief systems. It is whatever we think stand between us and happiness. Where in truth, happiness is yours already. Joy is who you are. But we say that this happened and because of it, I can't be happy. I lost my job. Because of it, I can't be happy. I am in a degrading job and I can't be happy because of it until I have shifted the situation. I am in a non-loving relationship and therefore I can't feel the love. I can't be happy until I've shifted the relationship. But as you know, and if you know the basics of the law of attraction, you will not shift the situation until you have shifted your vibration. You will not be out of the degrading job until you have found happiness within. You will not shift an displeasing relationship, an unloving relationship, until you have found that love within yourself. Ultimate self-love. And sure, we are not to take any shit, okay? We are not to be in abusive situations or abusive relationships. That is just leave and go. But if we are in a relationship that we don't really feel seen or loved or fulfilled, as many of us are or have been, the normal course of action is to shift out of the relationship and find a new one. And after the initial honeymoon period, we will still not be fulfilled or happy or pleased. until we can really shift that within ourselves and love ourselves so deeply that we don't need the validation from someone else. And everything will shift. But for now, let's focus more on the external circumstances and the feelings of not being able to be happy. When we are sad, we are, and feeling sad and all of that, it's signs of what we need to heal. And my previous classes I talked about this as well. And yeah, I will come back to that in here as well. So, but we think that certain things hold us back. We are not happy. Imagine a situation where you feel quite overwhelmed and really, really not happy about how things have turned out, how things are, and almost as a loss of what to do, feeling stuck, feeling unworthy, and feeling like you should have known better, or you should have been in a better state, in a better place by now. Expectations that make you feel not there, not happy enough, not satisfied, not fulfilled, and just wanting to be someplace else, wanting to be in a different circumstance. And in that moment, there are inner beliefs that may be unconscious, that are at stake, that are playing out, that are repetitions of from childhood or from previous lives, that prove to you the story within of not being worthy, of not being able, capable, of not being good enough. You can see it as chains holding us down. So most of us have like 3 to 5 core beliefs holding us back. And they are reinforced in situations in life until we see them and deal with them in our way. It could be honor them, see them with awareness, and they're gone. It can be going back to the root cause from childhood or from previous lives and see where exactly did this come from. And that awareness can break it. Or it can simply be what I'm about to share here. So just for this moment, imagine yourself being held down in chains, shackles, say three to 5 of them. And perhaps you know some already, perhaps you worked through them already. It could be that I am not loved unless I perform really well. Unless I achieve, I'm not loved. And that is also saying to me that I don't love myself unless I achieve according to society's norms. That could be one. And the other could be I lost the examples, but you get the point. It's because I've been working through these things and then memory disappears. But obviously, what is needed to be shared will be shared here. So I trust that there are examples for you. Okay? So these shackles just holding us back, holding us down, and within, we limit the sense of joy that we feel in a situation because of them. Okay, and we limit the progress in a situation because of them. So we are being held down, shackled with chains that are our own beliefs that are based upon memory from previous experiences But in this moment, what is real? Is the memory real? Is the memory really, truly real? Or is it a mental concept, a mental makeup, a mental construction that builds a history, that builds a past, that builds identity, and that limit that joy that is ever present, that is ever within you, always, because that's your very being. So sometimes we need to investigate what these shackles are, or have an idea about them, to know perhaps that I felt really unloved as a child. That's really bonding me. I can feel that being one of the shackles, one of the chains. And until I get validation from my parents, I can't rise. I can't be my full self. I can't love myself until I get that from them. But that is a mental construct, you see? That is power that you're giving away in this shackle. You're shackling yourself out of needing something from someone else that only you can give yourself. And there's other shackles that could be work-related, or being afraid of persecution, or being questioned. So out of protection for yourself, you have shackled yourself. So you're in a dilemma where you want to follow that, the drive within, the power and passion, desire within to be and express your full self. You want to follow that, but at the same time you hold yourself back from follow that because you're afraid of following that. So the fear of following your happiness is causing you unhappiness. So sometimes we need to look into what these shackles are. You can sit down in silence and write down what is holding you back. What are your inner beliefs? What do you believe about yourself? And why you can't be happy now? Why you can't be that happy, that bliss that explodes in your being every single moment, that just wants to make you laugh every moment, always, and dance and jump up and down out of laughter and joy and ecstasy. Why are you not that happy right now? Perhaps you are happy enough. Perhaps you have your life settled and it's moving along beautifully. You're quite happy. But why aren't you in ecstasy? Why aren't you in bliss? Write that down and see what truth does it hold, and where is it mental construct that holds you back. Power that you given circumstances holding you back through those shackles. So sometimes we need to really know, the mind really needs to know the content and the source of the story within the shackle, within the chain. I see it as a person being strapped and held by the hands and wrists and feet in chains. Sometimes we need to look within those stories and see the reason and see everything about them. But sometimes it's enough to know that there is a shackle. And this is powerful. Sometimes we need to know that there are stories, internal beliefs based from something that is not here right now, based out of the mind, created of the mind and the subconscious mind, holding us back. And this is you, this is me, mentally holding ourselves back. So sometimes it's enough, play with this when you want to. Sometimes it's enough to know that there are shackles and go within and just feel, okay, so in this moment, how much joy can I feel? Just like that. Maybe it's this much. I can only feel this much joy because of this. Okay, but really, how much joy can you allow yourself to feel regardless of anything else outside of you? Because everything outside of you, your mind chooses to use as limitations. How much can you love yourself to allow yourself to feel the joy even more? Something within might open. Maybe you can feel the joy just rising within, rising within. It's an energy, it's a frequency. How much joy can you allow yourself? You see, you are your own permission giver. You are your own gatekeeper to the innermost joy that is always there. It doesn't need a glass of wine and a sunset to appear. It can appear anywhere, regardless of the circumstances, regardless of if the surrounding you're in brings you to tears and it's gray concrete and people are mean. That joy is yours. It's always within. It's a matter of allowing yourself to be it, to experience it. And if you feel it, just let it expand. Let everything within you that's contracting around this frequency, energy, change of state, allow it to relax and open more and more and more to that frequency. And allow it to do whatever it naturally does, naturally flows. I feel it as in like an elevator lift through my spine up into my brain. And the first time I realized this, mind blown. I was laughing and in ecstasy for 3 weeks. It doesn't have to be that. I believe it's unique to every single person, but it's a helpful perspective to know that we don't have to know the cause and reason for every inner belief. We don't have to clear everything off the screen that we are projecting life through to know ourselves as the projector light or the one that's causing the light. Okay, this is a deeper teaching, but there are, I find, two ways, two approaches to healing. I've shared it before, I'll share it again. Sometimes we have to find our own balance. It's not either or, it's both. Sometimes we need to go in and see the reason and the cause, or only to the very root of the emotional residue, the energetic knot, the cluster of energy that just has to dissolve by light to be healed energetically. Sometimes we have to go to the root of the emotion to allow that to be healed and released. But sometimes we don't have to be held back by the belief that we have to heal it first until we can be happy. And if that is the case, you will know, because you can do it. If you can do what I just described, those beliefs will melt away. You will know that they are not real, that they were a belief, that you allowed power over you. Sometimes it's enough to know that there is a belief. Sometimes we don't need to know what the belief is to be able to let it go. So play with this. Find the balance. I found for myself that if I'm able to choose bliss as a frequency, I don't need to heal that was holding me back. And if I do, my body will let me know, because I will get pain somewhere. I will get sick. It will signal to me until I respond. Yeah. Any questions? Is that what I wanted to share? Yes. Yeah. Another aspect, actually. If we find that we have beliefs and we feel the pain out of the circumstances, we are suffering because of something else, and we have a lot of opinions and stories about that other thing that is causing us suffering in any shape or form, unease, irritation because of something else, someone else. Somewhere, I've shared a lot about this. Somewhere we have a part of us that is addicted to suffering. We have a part of ourselves that actually enjoys the stories and the misery that they are creating. And sometimes we can't let it go because we are kind of addicted to talking about it, and we share about it, and we talk to our friends and family, and complain and moan and complain and just talk about the negative stuff that's happening. And then we can begin to perhaps look at that as a part that is addicted, attached to suffering and the stories that they create, because that is a way that the ego self is identifying herself through the stories that create suffering. It has a lot to do with victimhood, that the victim really wants to stay a victim because it's comfortable somehow being a victim. It has given away her powers to others, and have to stay a victim because otherwise I have to take responsibility for myself and my own happiness. So you can shift that. The first class, The Wheel of Suffering, is really talking a lot about this, the addiction to suffering. So in these situations, if you want to try this exercise and to just burst out of the shackles and feel that it's difficult, and you have a lot of mental going on about why you can't and why that a certain aspect is really causing you pain, then look into that aspect of the attachment to suffering, the addict, the victim, the victimhood and the addict to suffering. And I say this with love. I've been there, and perhaps sometimes I'm there again, and that's part of the humanness of us. It's part of our human journey to discover our victim, to love her, to love the addict that is addicted to others validation, and that feels really hurt if we don't get it. I love her, I love you, and I'm sharing this with love. But if that is where you are, that part of you may be quite triggered, knowing that there is someone here telling you that you are addicted to suffering. So I hope it lands well. And that you can see that that part is not your true self. That part that gets angered out of being put on the spot, that is not your true you. Your true you. Your true you comes from within this feeling of joy and happiness within. And I hope that you nourish her or him, and that you love that other part of you. Because when you, as this deep being, love your victim, she feels seen and loved enough to let go. Okay, ramblings done. I invite us all to drop into beingness again. So close your eyes. Take a deep breath. And just be. Everything your mind needs to remember, it will. Just come into the feeling, being in the space within you. Perhaps behind your heart space. See if there's something resting there. A space, a stillness that you can rest into. Allow that space, that stillness within you to expand, but perhaps not that yet, but to be validated as a valid point of observation, of acknowledgement, of existence. We don't need to know exactly what it is or where it is to be able to drop into it. Whatever you are feeling is okay. Or not feeling is okay. We are together here in a shared field, or presence of grace. Just be. And slowly come back to your breath. Notice your breathing. And fill your lungs. Take a little bit of a deeper breath. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Or stay in this space. Close the screen. Turn phone off. Stay in the space if you like. Or open your eyes. I receive my gratitude for being here. I'll see you soon again. Bye now.